Hi, it's Lance Yolanoff, Editor-in-Chief of Mashable, and I'm here with Elon Musk, who is the founder.
CEO and Chief Designer of SpaceX.
Yeah, is that all? Is that all? And
yeah.
also the co-founder of Tesla.
Yeah.
Tesla Motors.
Yeah. And CEO of Tesla.
And then there's something called PayPal that you were involved with in.
Helped create PayPal back in the day. It's been
Right.
10 years since we sold it.
I was going to say, is there anything else that you've done that maybe we don't have on this list? That we should...
I'm chairman of Solar City, which might IPO later this year. They're the largest provider of solar power in the country.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I did not have that on my list. Of course, there was something I didn't know. So, you weren't born in America. You were actually born in South Africa, and you were born
I got here as soon as I could, though.
What's that?
I got here as soon as I could.
Right. Well, you certainly did. But you were born after the lunar landing.
That's right, 71.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was really curious with your involvement with SpaceX and getting set to do what is, I guess, the first private launch outside, into space, who else has launched into space into the International Space Station? No one else.
Right. We'll be the first private spacecraft to dock with the space station.
Right. So what was the first space event that you saw on television as a child?
Wow. Probably Star Trek.
Oh, well, okay, that's so Star Trek.
And Battlestar Galactica, the original.
So did you see? So the space shuttle was probably. I spent some time thinking about this.
I think I probably saw the space shuttle on TV.
Mm-hmm.
South Africa had very lame TV.
Right.
Like we literally had one channel. In the early days, it was one channel, and it was only on for half a day.
I hope it was
half of the day. And the news was like.
So how do you end up getting hooked on space?
Well, my interest in space is mostly, sort of from a philosophical standpoint of that I believe we should be a spacefaring civilization and ultimately a multi-planet species. The thing that ties together my various endeavors was that when I was in college, I thought, what are the things that I thought would most affect the future of humanity? And they were the internet, sustainable energy, both production and consumption, and making life multiplanetary, or becoming a true spacefaring civilization. So those are the three things that I thought would most affect humanity, and I wanted to be involved in those three things. At the time, if you'd asked me, I would have said that it's unlikely that I would be involved in space because I thought that was the province of large governments. I don't want to belabor the question, but originally what got me started in space was not starting a rocket company. It was actually I wanted to do a philanthropic mission to land a small greenhouse on the surface of Mars, and it was called Mars Oasis. And the idea there was to capture the public imagination, get people excited about the idea of sending life to Mars. The public tends to be excited about precedents and superlatives, and this would be the furthest life's ever traveled and first life on Mars.
All right. So you're clearly very interested in manned space missions. Your Dragon module, right? The spaceship that's going to launch on April 30th can hold 7 astronauts.
Yes.
And do you believe that all space missions should be manned?
No, a lot of space travel will be unmanned. And in fact, although the craft that we'll be launching, hopefully in about 4 weeks, assuming launch preparations go well, although it's capable of carrying 7 people, it will not be carrying anyone on this mission.
Okay, so this will be an unmanned mission.
Correct.
And all remote control to do the docking. Who ends up doing the docking on the ISS?
So the thing that's interesting and maybe slightly scary is that Dragon is a robotic spaceship that's automatically navigating itself to the space station.
No, not scary though.
I mean, it just pause at various points and ask if everything's okay. So it asks permission to proceed.
That's good. That's good.
But who knows? It could be like Hell 9000. We say open the pod bay doors and the thing doesn't do it.
All right. That's okay. So no one's going up right now, but obviously I've seen the pictures on your website, and certainly are building it with that idea. So this is kind of a little bit more, it's an intense proof of concept, right? If this does it, are you bringing any cargo with you?
Yes.
You are.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Since this is the first mission, it's a demonstration mission, it's mostly stuff that is valuable there, but not valuable if it's lost. So it's things like food and consumables, other consumables.
Okay, comic books, things like that.
Yeah.
So, you step in. SpaceX steps in. You're competing for this contract. When you look at NASA and where they got to, and basically the end of the manned space program, do you have any thoughts about where NASA went wrong and how SpaceX potentially does it right?
Well, I think first of all, it's important to acknowledge the role of NASA. I would not have been able to start SpaceX without the amazing work that NASA had done in the past, nor would SpaceX have achieved, be where it is today without the help of NASA. So this should not be seen as some sort of competition with NASA, but rather a collaboration.
So you almost feel like this is like the next logical step.
It is. And, I think what SpaceX can do is allow NASA to take a given budget and achieve much more with it.
And that was actually something. I mean, I don't know if you can get into numbers, but we always hear about the billions upon billions of dollars spent by NASA for anything, even just for flying the space shuttle over and over again. I assume SpaceX is more cost efficient. Can you give me any sense in dollars? I mean, how many times can you fly SpaceX Dragon versus a space shuttle?
Well, we're about 8 times less than the space shuttle. Now, the space shuttle, in crew configuration, we can carry the same number of people as the space shuttle, and then in cargo configuration, we can carry less. But now that the space station is assembled, there really isn't a need for the added cargo capacity of the space shuttle. So the space shuttle would be kind of like
you're not
going to visit your house in a giant semi-trailer. It wouldn't make much sense.
Right. So you're ending up just bringing supplies and experiments, and maybe additional robots.
Yeah, it is exactly. It is very important to be able to take things back and forth from the space station. Obviously, you need to resupply the astronauts with food and whatnot. But you also need to bring up space experiments, replacement hardware. You need to bring experiments back to us so they can be analyzed in a laboratory. We need to bring back hardware that needs to be repaired. So it's really a very important cargo transport function. And in fact, we're the only means of bringing cargo back from the space station. The Soyuz, you can bring people back, but it's very small, so you can only basically whatever you can tuck under your seat. But in terms of
so it's like an airplane.
Yeah,
it's they have any overhead
way
storage?
Smaller.
No?
It's like you basically it's like in a fetal position.
Right, and Soyuz is the Russian spaceship. I mean, that's typically that's our taxi right now. That's been our taxi back and forth.
But to give you a sense of relative size, Dragon is much larger than the Soyuz. In fact, you can fit the entire Soyuz spacecraft just inside the pressurized section of Dragon.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, why is it so much bigger? Why did you make it larger? Is that just for comfort? There's some...
Yeah, comfort and cargo capacity. So Soyuz can carry 3 people in a very cramped environment, and we can carry 7 people in a roomy environment.
And you're working with NASA astronauts, right? Those are the people who are training with you right now for the eventuality of a manned mission.
Yeah, exactly. We have a number of ex-NASA personnel working at SpaceX. In fact, we also have NASA personnel, active NASA personnel who are permanently resident at SpaceX. And we have a tremendous amount of back and forth. So at any given point, there are a bunch of SpaceX people at NASA, a bunch of NASA people at SpaceX, and then we're also very closely connected electronically. So when we do this mission, SpaceX Mission Control and NASA Houston Mission Control are seeing all the same data.
So obviously these astronauts, they're behind you 100%, and we've heard about Buzz Aldrin's statements, but I even know that
there's some differing opinions.
There's some differing opinions. John Glenn, tremendous frustration that we don't have the U.S. doesn't have the wherewithal to send people into space. But I'm curious if you have spoken to him at all, because it would seem like he would be behind, supporting what you're doing.
John Glenn? Actually, no, I have not spoken to John Glenn. I've spoken to many astronauts, but not him. Right.
And so you're super involved with all this stuff. We talked about it, and I didn't even know about the solar energy thing. And someone named Orfritz, Ofritz, from our community wanted to know how you did it all. Like, what are are there time management tips here? I mean, how are you managing your day? You are running two right now very real and very intense businesses with especially on the SpaceX side, tremendously high stakes.
Sure.
So give us the tips so we all know what to do.
God, I wish I had good tips, but I do a lot of email. Wherever possible, I try to communicate asynchronously with email. I'm like an email. I'm really good at email.
So
I got skills.
You let
mad skills in the email front.
Elon Musk has mad email skills.
That's very much.
So what does that mean though? Are you basically letting you're busy doing other things, and you sit down and you do like a power email session where you get through like.
I'm constantly on email. So
okay.
at every interstitial moment, I'm taking care of email, and then I'll have meetings during the day. And then I'll usually have a bunch of email and have to get them done at night. And I spend about half my time on SpaceX, about half on Tesla, and so I mean to be precise, and like a normal week would be Monday at SpaceX, then Tuesday, Wednesday at Tesla, Thursday and half of Friday at SpaceX, and then the remaining half of Friday is at the Tesla Design Studio, which is adjacent to SpaceX, and then the weekends are with my kids.
All right, so it's a pretty good
I go to
schedule.
Too,
but there's going to be, I mean,
I'll be at Coachella on the 20th.
Are there core principles?
Or
Like
3 hours.
somebody like you is a doer. Okay, you don't just see a problem, you find it, you create, you execute. So what? Is there some sort of thing? I mean, is there a book you read, or is it just part of your DNA that you're somebody who finishes stuff?
I've actually not read any books on time management, but I do try to think.
Write one.
I do try to optimize the productivity of every given day. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop, like where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. I think that's probably the single best bit of advice, is just constantly be thinking about how you could do things better and questioning yourself.
So you don't draw, play guitar, sing. Come on, you sing.
I can whistle.
You can whistle? Actually, can you whistle anything for us? I'm just curious. Are you actually good at it?
Yeah, not bad at whistling. What name a tune?
You pick the tune. You whistle. We'll take anything you're able to actually whistle.
Whistling is like so uncool. Let me see. I'm like laughing. I can't.
No, we can't do it. Fly Me to the Moon. Do you know how to whistle that?
Sure.
That's beautiful. That's really nice.
You're welcome.
Well done. So let's switch gears a little bit. I love to say that because I want to talk about Tesla. I was.
We have no gears.
No, that's right. Well,
It's
actually, I wrote down this quote from a review of one of your cars. The real story, though, is the eerily muted thrust from the electric motor. Basically, this is a race, a sports car.
Sounds like a land speeder from Star Wars.
Right, a sports car. When you press the accelerator, you can go up to 125 miles per hour.
Yeah, it's electronically limited.
Yeah, and it doesn't make that normal sound because it's a completely different kind of motor.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a cool, sort of subtle kind of jet turbine sound, because the motor goes up to 14,000 RPM. So it's got this like subtle sort of turbine sound, which I think is cool.
So,
and also what's neat is like you can accelerate really fast. Like let's say you're at a stoplight or whatever, and you can take off and you can floor it and not seem like a jackass. Because normally if you floor like a gasoline car, it's like and you're like.
Right, but the wheels would still spin.
No, they won't.
They won't spin.
Well, if you turn off traction control, they will, but that's unwise.
So there are one of the models is like $100,000. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that the base
That's
model?
no, that's the sports car.
That's a sports car. So,
so
what's the lowest price Tesla
so
right
this,
now?
the Tesla Model S sedan, which goes into production in a few months, is $50,000.
Okay.
It's a four-door sort of sports sedan,
And
kind of like about the size of a BMW 5 Series.
right, and I've seen it. It's actually a gorgeous looking car, and so is the Tesla, the
The
Roadster.
Model X?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
really
sure.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
But according to your website, you sold about 2,100
Of the Roadster,
of
the
the
sports
Roadster.
car.
Okay,
Yeah,
and so at this point, do you consider Tesla a success?
Well, I think Tesla is sort of a success on some levels. The reason I put so much effort into creating and building Tesla is because we wanted to serve as a catalyst for the electric car transformation. So we needed to show that electric cars could be attractive, fast, and long range. And previously, people had thought that electric cars were kind of ugly, short range, and low performance, kind of like a golf cart. And so we had to break that perception, which I think we did with the Roadster. And that also set a lot of things in motion. The announcement of the Tesla Roadster is what got the Chevy Bolt going, which was Bob Lutz from GM was kind enough to acknowledge. And then the Nissan Leaf and a number of other electric car programs came as a result. So I think we helped set the ball in motion. Now, what's important is to continue the momentum, because there have been prior false dawns of electric vehicles. There was the EV1,
Yes.
and as chronicled in
Who killed the electric car?
exactly. And we do not want who killed the electric car again.
Right. Right,
We
please.
do not
please.
want that
We
movie.
certainly don't want any part of that. But so you've got a $50,000
right.
car and you've got a $100,000 car, but why doesn't Tesla have a $9,000 electric car?
Well, maybe 9,000 is that's a tough one. But let's say, a typical, like the average car would be in the $25,000 range. That's sort of like the median, maybe including options. Maybe it's around $28,000, something like the median sale price. We do intend to get there ourselves, and that'll be with our third generation car. So, and the basic business plan of Tesla, which I actually articulated in the very beginning when I wrote a blog piece called the Tesla Master Plan, genius as it was, is really dumb and simple. But I think it's the only path to success, which is to start with a low volume, high price car, then go to a medium volume, medium price, and then go to a high volume, low price. And we're kind of in step 2 with the Model S that's coming out, and we'll go to step 3. Now, with our partners, Daimler and Toyota, we are actually we're able to leap forward to step 3, because with Daimler, we did the electric Mercedes A-Class and the electric Smart. And now those were primarily in Europe, so our American audience wouldn't have seen much of that. But the car that's coming out soon is the new electric RAV4, which we're doing in partnership with Toyota. We're producing the battery pack and the motor and the power electronics, basically the whole powertrain. So it's got Tesla technology, but it's combined with Toyota vehicle engineering and their high production of the RAV4, which is their most popular SUV. And so that's going to provide an affordable electric car very soon. In months, basically.
So I'm just curious, what do you find more satisfying, driving a Tesla at 120 miles per hour or launching a rocket?
I think they're both interesting problems, of different kinds of problems, but they're both very interesting. But it's kind of like asking what's your favorite kid,
You can tell.
They're both important problems. I mean, I think that the single largest macro problem that humanity faces this century is solving the sustainable energy problem, sustainable production and consumption of energy. But then I think the sort of longer time frame problem that's really important to solve is making life multi-planetary.